So, how do you respond to people when they question your medical decisions? I bet it's happened to you at least once. Well, a negative comment from a viewer sparked today's topic, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But first off, welcome back. Hello, friends and family. Yes, it has been a while. Last we spoke, the last time you were in my basement, or I was in your living room or car or wherever you are. I think it was summertime. And anyway, it's been a very busy couple of months. Last month, I spent a lot of time going to doctor's appointments, just pretty much checkups. Went to the radiation oncologist who, when I told him actually that I had switched from tamoxifen to anastrozole, he's like, "How's that going?" I said, "Pretty well." He said, "I bet you got a lot of hot flashes, right?" And I said, "No." I mean, it practically shot out of my mouth and it startled him. He kind of jumped back like, "Oh, okay." But I was so surprised actually that I don't have hot flashes. I thought that, that was a very common, I mean, it is a common side effect for a lot of women who take anastrozole, but I have not had a single one. And I have been on this medication for months now. And I was able to tell him this is so much better for me than tamoxifen. Tamoxifen, if I can speak. So, for those of you who've been following along, I'm sharing this because you're here probably because you want to know more about anastrozole and what to anticipate. And I can tell you, I was on tamoxifen twice, and the first time it caused major depression, major brain fog, and a host of other ailments and side effects. And same thing the second go around. I was on it for a few months, and I just said I can't do this anymore. And so I was switched to an aromatase inhibitor known as anastrozole, and it is going so much better. And I know for a lot of women, it's just the opposite. They start on an aromatase inhibitor, they can't handle it, and they do better on tamoxifen. So I shared this because we're all different, we're all unique. So you just never know until you try, right? Um, Also, in addition to going to the radiation oncologist, I went to my oncologist, had some blood work. That all went well. Then I had a routine breast MRI. That did not go so well initially because it ended up picking up something in my abdominal area. It lit up and concerned my oncologist who ordered a CT scan stat and had that thinking I probably had stage 4 cancer, that it had spread. And of course, I was looking up everything and researching everything. And actually, I had the CT scan and it didn't show anything. So all is well. I'm happy to report. Okay, so on to this comment from someone allegedly, who knows if it's really her name, named Mary. Maybe it is. I don't know. I find most people who are negative don't like to put the real name out there. But Mary said, "You are just plain stupid." This was in response to my last update in my breast cancer playlist. I don't always talk about breast cancer, I talk about other things. And then she went on to say, "Listening and taking big farm. You are so transparent," which initially I took as a compliment. I thought, hey, I try to be transparent. I thought that's what she meant. No, she's talking about the way I look. "You are so transparent. You are pale and look terrible." Well, my ancestors came from Ireland, many of them, and from England and from Holland. So, I mean, this is what you get. I don't tan very easily. So, there you go. But anyway, Mary said, "I just look pale and look terrible." So, I will be honest, as someone who has spent years in the past in the public eye and public ear, so in radio and television, you learn early on to develop a thick skin because when you're in the public eye, people like to come out of the woodwork to tell you how much they don't like you and what about you they don't like. And I'm very accustomed to that. So thankfully, this did not phase me. I did not lose any sleep over Mary's comment. As a matter of fact, it gave me a good little chuckle, you know. Um, but it did bring up something that I thought was worth pointing out here. And not the fact that I'm plain stupid. Sometimes I am. But listening and taking big pharm, talking about pharmaceuticals. How could you be so stupid to take these drugs? We know that everyone in the medical community is out to kill us. So that's what some people would have us to believe. Now, I will tell you, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, especially I would say the second time, I had people coming out of the woodwork to give me their take on what I should be doing, sent me books on different diets I should be on, different supplements to take, different techniques I should incorporate into my life to help fight cancer. And I will tell you, I never, ever took offense to any of that. Okay. Because I think in almost all cases, it came from a place of concern and love from friends and family. And I was thankful. And I'll let you know, I lean a little bit crunchy, okay? A little bit of a granola girl here. And I like to go the natural route. I mean, my goodness, when I was a teenager and through my 20s and 30s, I never wore antiperspirant, okay? I still don't. Isn't that a scary thought? No, I always used the salt rock, because I had read years ago that wearing antiperspirant could lead to breast cancer. So I was concerned about it then for some reason. I didn't have family with breast cancer, but anyway, I've always tried to go a natural route and try to watch a little bit of my sugar and things of that nature. Um, so I did appreciate all of the information supplied to me. But here's the thing, and I would look into a lot of this. I didn't just dismiss what was given to me. I am someone who likes to research. I nearly did not have radiation, so because of the research I had done. But it is a personal decision. And so I'm sharing this for two camps of people. For those who, like myself, have been diagnosed with cancer and you are bombarded with people's ideas on what you should be doing to prevent your cancer from spreading or from it coming back, et cetera, as well as for those who are the ones to divvy out the advice. Okay. So this information I'm going to share is really aimed at both camps, okay? How do you respond when someone disagrees with the fact that you are going the traditional route? Actually, I'm going to get to that. I first I think, see, I maybe I am plain stupid. I can't keep my thoughts straight. I want to go with the people who um, are the ones giving out the advice. It's appreciated from my standpoint. Not everyone appreciates it, I'm sure, but what you have to keep in mind is for those of us who've been diagnosed with cancer and like to do our research and do our homework, we've probably researched every diet under the sun. We've considered vegetarianism. We've considered becoming vegan. We've read the the anecdotal evidence that supports a keto diet, a Mediterranean diet, a metabolic diet. There's so many out there. And here's the thing, which one works? How do you know that it's working? Um, you could read scores of articles and studies that point to every kind of diet out there that will tell you it's the best one for fighting or preventing cancer. But here's the thing, I'm a part of several breast cancer forums, and one of them I've been on for years. I don't know how many women, countless women, have shared that they were in the best shape of their life, the best health of their life. They ran marathons. They were a vegetarian, and guess what? They got cancer. Or they were keto. They had been keto for a while, had lost weight. They were looking great, feeling wonderful. And guess what? They got cancer. So what I'm saying is, I don't think diet is necessarily the magic bullet. Yes, we should all be healthy, but boy, you can define healthy in so many different ways. Then add to that, if you choose to go a more natural route, which I think is wonderful, and I would never discourage someone from doing that if that's what they choose to do. But how will you ever know what you're doing is working? Because the issue is there's no traditional, medical doctor that is going to take someone on as a patient who refuses their um, prescription for treatment. If you say, "Hey, doc, I know you're telling me I need chemo or I'm not going to make it, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to increase my kelp intake. I'm going to start walking more. I'm going to lose some weight. And I'm going to fight it that way." They're going to say, "Well, I disagree, but God bless you. Go on." They're not going to scan you to know if what you're doing is working. They're not going to do blood work to see, if your markers are up or down, or you're kind of on your own. Unless unless you can seek out a more holistic oncologist. Those are out there. Many are at these uh, special cancer institutes that you're going to find overseas, often in Europe or in Mexico. And then you better have 200 to $300,000 to go see these doctors. And you're going to have to live in these areas for a while. Most people can't do that. Not to mention, insurance is not going to pay a dime of it, right? And so it's difficult for those of us who would like to take a more natural route to fighting cancer, but just can't afford it. So if you're someone who is telling your friend or a loved one, that you don't think they should be doing the chemo or radiation, chemo's just toxic. That's what people say. Well, it is, because it's killing cells, ideally cancer cells. Whatever can kill cancer has to be a little toxic, right? Unfortunately, it does kill healthy cells in the process, and it does cause side effects, no doubt. But this is kind of what we're working with, right? This is what we got, and I don't think it's ideal. I don't know of any cancer patient who says, "Yes, bring on chemo." Oh, there might be some, but or that look forward to radiation or ongoing medicines that they have to take with their side effects. But it is a very personal choice that one has to make after they've weighed all these options. Okay, so you are the cancer patient. Now I'm talking to you, who has been confronted by friends and family, and some maybe just telling you are wrong for doing this. Big pharma's out to kill you. Obviously, it's a big money making machine. Okay. Probably is. And they don't want to heal anyone, and the cure for cancer is already out there, but it's being suppressed because then no one makes money. Maybe that is true. But with that said, I believe there are good-hearted people out there too who are researching and who want to see us well, and they are doing what's within their power, that with the knowledge that they have, to make us well. So what do you do when family members disagree with the route you're taking, if it's a traditional approach to fighting cancer? Well, all I can say is, be gracious. That's the route I take. Proverbs 15:1 is, it says, "A gentle word turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." I think that's right, or something like that. If not, I'll correct it on the screen. Um, we have a choice. We can be frustrated, and maybe it is frustrating. You're already dealing with cancer. That's frustrating enough. And then to tell people what you're doing is all wrong, how you're approaching it, and you just want to live. You want to be around for friends and family. Um, it can be difficult, but know that these people are saying this, I think, usually because they care about you. They love you. They want what's best for you, and they think they know what's best. And I just say, respond with gentleness. I appreciate what you're sharing with me, and I know you're trying to help. And I've looked at what's out there, what's available, and I've decided to go this other route. And I hope you'll continue to pray for me. Yeah, I'll let you know what I need, or whatever. But I think you can respond with kindness and just be gracious to others. Now, with that said, I do want to mention there was an article I came across recently. It was on Fox News, and it was about a woman diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Doctors told her she only had months to live, but then she sought out this cancer center. I think it was in Arizona, that had something called, it offered genetically targeted fractionated chemotherapy. It was a personalized chemo that she said saved her life. She is now cancer free, or at least at the writing of that article, which was, I think, a couple weeks ago. I'll put a link to that article if you're curious about it. So she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer last December. It had spread to her bones, to her lymph nodes, to her liver, and the article said, and to other areas. So this cancer had spread. Like I said, doctor said she didn't have long to live, but she did this special kind of chemo, and now she's here and she's thriving. So there's hope. That's what this channel is about. The good place. If you didn't ever hear me talk about why I started this channel, it was last year after I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the second time. And no, I'm not stage 4, thankfully. So, but I was diagnosed for a second time and it did come back a little more aggressive. And I had gotten laid off. So I had some time on my hands, and my background, as I've said earlier, is in media. And so I had a lot of equipment and I had time on my hands, and I wanted to focus on what was positive. And so I was reading stories on, different people, and, encouraging stories and scripture. And I thought, well, if I'm reading this, spending time on it, why not share it with you through a little YouTube channel, which I don't get to do all that often because life is busy. I do work now. I do have a full-time job and I do have 3 children. And anyway, so life is busy. But I like to jump on here periodically just to give you an update, share with you what is going on, and to hopefully add a little bit of encouragement and positivity to your day, because I think we could all use that, right? And oh, one thing, I'm talking in circles here and I get it. But something I was gonna share earlier, not that it's significant, but I find it funny. Kinda circles back to, this person saying something negative, and you have to have thick skin when you put yourself in front of people. But, when I was working at St. Michael's Media, I had a viewer write in complaining because I couldn't say the word correctly. Apparently, I either turned that first T into a D, or I just dropped the T altogether. How do you say that word? I'm just curious. How do you say it? And what is so funny, what's so important about this is, you know what? I didn't have to defend myself. And again, when I read it, I laughed. I thought it was so funny. But all these people came to my defense. This person was saying, Kim has got to be ignorant. Only ignorant people can't say that word. When I hear people say it like that, I just assume they're uneducated. But others came to my defense and said, well, she's probably from the South and can't help it. Or, how many people going around saying, would you please pass the butter? Most people say butter, right? I don't know. Maybe you pronounce things better than I do. I do tend to have a lazy mouth. I agree. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. Thought it was important to share with you. So anyway, when people complain, point fingers, whatever, just laugh. Just don't worry about it. Move on. Assume that they're having a bad day. Life's not going too well. Just say a prayer for them and move on. So anyway, that's all I have. That's all I have for today. Hopefully I'll be back eventually with something else. I actually have a page of ideas, things I want to share with you, things that I want to do. None of them are related. This so goes against the grain of YouTube, which says you have to niche down and you have to, talk about certain things. And that's if you want to grow your channel. I don't know what I'm doing here. I just like sharing with you. I appreciate you. If you tuned in, thank you so much. God bless. If you like what you hear here, please like, subscribe, tell your friends and family or not, just whatever. Just know I appreciate you. I enjoy being in here and being here with you, and God bless. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.